They're ready in Ram Nation. Grayson High School in Loganville, Georgia, set for a clash of the high school titans as Jemias Williams, the star corner, laces up the green and gold. The opponent, IMG Academy. Linebacker Dylan Moses leads the way for the Ascenders. Two of the nation's top 4 teams on ESPN2.
For months, goalposts have stood watch over empty practice fields. The silence, like the next tick of a clock that never comes. But if you try hard enough, you can just hear the band playing the school fight song and feel the energy of hundreds of cheering fans still hanging in the air. Just as the days couldn't get any longer or any hotter, something awakens amidst the stillness of summer. The echoes of seasons past give way to the sounds of a new season.
We're toasting, let's go! Pick it up!
Countless hours of dreaming and countless hours of waiting. The wait is over. Tomorrow's stars of college football play here. Now, football is back.
Welcome to the 2016 Geico ESPN High School Football Kickoff, part of the Summer of Next, presented by Geico. They've been camped out here for hours on a steamy Saturday in Grayson, Georgia. Their second-ranked Rams take on the 4th-ranked IMG Academy Ascenders on ESPN2. Hi, folks. With ESPN National Recruiting Analyst Craig Halbert, my name is Kevin Brown. It's appropriate that this game takes place on a Saturday night because you're going to see players from this game on this day for the next few years.
Absolutely, Kevin. To put it simply, the amount of talent in this game is ridiculous. Both teams will be supplying college football with its future stars for many classes to come. And you may be saying, Craig, prove it. How about an impressive 17 ESPN 300 prospects taking part in this game? And of the 11 5-stars, 3 are playing in this game. The talent also goes to the ESPN Junior 300 ranks. And if you are a college football fan, odds are your team has a commit or a target that will be on the field tonight.
17 teams represented there. The Grayson Rams have a new head coach as well, Jeff Herron. He's with the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, Olivia Harlan.
Try to control the ball a little bit and serve.
We'll get back to Olivia later in the game, with Jeff Herron, the head coach, coming over to Grayson after a few years at Prince Avenue Christian.
This much talent in the game, there's no time for interviews.
That's it.
Bursting at the seams. Let's get this thing kicked. Let's get going. Let's see the future of college football in action right now.
It's being dubbed the ESPN 300 Bowl by some, including you on Twitter. And Will Van Pamelen will get us started. Grayson won the toss, chose to defer. And this is into the end zone for a touchback. The IMG Academy Ascenders, Craig, out of Bradenton, Florida. They'll be led onto the field by Kellen Mott, a Texas A&M commit.
Number 2 rated dual threat quarterback in this class, a Texas A&M verbal, a young man with outstanding upside, physically great size. He's got a good arm, can make all the throws, and also a dynamic runner. He can get out on the perimeter, and he's able to make some tough throws from some awkward positions. So even when you have him on the run, he still has the ability to make a big play.
Senders begin in the shotgun. Asa Martin, the running back. Send Manny Green in motion, get him the ball, and the UCF commit is blown up. A loss on the first play, and it's D'Angelo Gibbs, one of the top prospects in the country.
Well, we said we had a lot of talent in this game, and right out the box, D'Angelo Gibbs shows up, a 5-star playing at safety. He has a linebacker-type build, and he can be very aggressive. We saw him come up and run support there and lay the big hit. I like how we wrapped up as well. Secure tackling, don't allow second opportunities.
No gain on the play, and our first flag is down. Greg DeFore, our referee tonight.
5-yard penalty. Second down.
The Ascenders coached by Kevin Wright in his second season. Son of the winningest coach in Indiana football history, Larry Bud Wright. It's a family that has football in the bloodlines, and he's looking to continue an unbeaten record here at the Academy. 2nd and 15. Maude will throw. His pass is incomplete. Intended for Brian Hightower, the junior. And a good start defensively for Grayson.
Yeah, the talent of this Grayson defense is in the secondary. We already saw the safety, D'Angelo Gibbs. Recent South Carolina verbal commit, Jamias Williams, the number 4 rated corner in the nation, also a part of that secondary. The protection for IMG was outstanding, but not a lot of windows, and the ability to close for that Rams defense is strong.
You're not kidding about recent. About 3 hours ago, Jamias Williams made that commitment. He's at the defensive secondary for a 3rd and long. Asa Martin tripped up on the screen. Ishmael Abdul from the outside. A 3 and out for the Ascenders.
Outstanding job by the senior number 12, Abdul, of playing off the block, getting a hand on the ball carrier for the tackle. Great first series for this Grayson team, forcing a 3 and out from IMG.
Ascenders kicker and punter is Cooper Graham. Jamias Williams back to receive along with Elijah Shaw. High snap fielded by Graham and gets it off cleanly. This is Williams at his own 43. Jamias Williams' first touch as a Grayson Ram is across midfield, a gain of 11 on the return. The Rams, the number 2 team in the country, unbeaten until the state playoffs last year, and they are led by an ESPN 300 quarterback as well.
That's correct, Kevin. Clemson verbal commit Chase Bryce. Now, he is not as athletic as his counterpart, Kellen Mond. What he is, he's one of those quarterbacks who does a lot of the little things well. And what they're going to need from him tonight is to be strong, smart with his decision making, protect the football. They run a hybrid of the spread because of his ability as a passer, but they'll also implement wing T elements to this offense.
He'll throw to start. Pass is complete. Picked up by Evan Sturgill, the senior. 16 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
He is at his strength, Bryce, in a short to intermediate passing. Marcus Williamson, the Ohio State verbal commit number 5, took a break on the football, missed. They were able to connect and get some extra yards, move the chains.
Bryce to throw again. Another short one. This is along the near sideline for D'Angelo Gibbs, who's already made an impact defensively. What do you expect to see, Craig, with Grayson's offense against IMG's defense?
They're coming out with the short passing game, but I expect as the game goes on to see more wing T elements try and slow down this IMG defense, get them thinking, having them read blocks and try to take away some of that athleticism.
Encroachment on the defense. 5 yards. Second down.
That's 2 penalties for IMG. They played a game last week against Carroll City, Kevin, and Coach Wright spoke about the problems that they had with penalties early in that game.
Had more penalty yards in the first half than they did total yards. Just saw Jeff Herron, the longtime Georgia high school football coach, first season at Grayson. Replaces Mickey Kahn, who was the only football coach this program's ever known. He's at Clemson. Another 1st and 10 for Bryce. This one goes on the ground. It is Kurt Taylor, Michigan verbal, senior starter.
Coach Herron, speaking about Kurt Taylor, the Michigan verbal commit, really talked about him as his secret weapon. He's a transfer into this program. Undersized back, doesn't have great height, but doesn't mean he's small. He is just a ball of muscle and could be a very tough inside runner.
Ran for nearly 1,200 yards last year at Archer. One of a number of high-profile transfers into the Grayson program this year. Taylor again up the gut. Let's head down to Olivia Harlan, the third member of our broadcast crew.
First player in his family to play football and not basketball. Both his dad and uncle played overseas professionally. His dad then became a New York City cop, and he moved his family down to Georgia to give Kurt the opportunity to play some big-time high school football. He says he's the most humble, grateful kid every night before he goes to bed. He says, "Dad, thank you."
Big-time high school football now, big-time college football next year in the big house. On a 3rd down and 6. Short one for Bryce. Complete. And past the sticks for a first down, Elijah Shaw. Isaiah Pryor in coverage, and Shaw got loose.
A nice job by Bryson. We're going to see Shaw is finding that soft spot. Now that pass wasn't for a lot of yardage, but from the far hash to the numbers, showing very good arm strength and accuracy. Once again, taking what the defense is giving, making smart decisions, moving the chains.
Is that the best version of Chase Bryce?
Yeah, his strength as a passer is in a short to intermediate game, especially inside the numbers, but there we saw a little bit of that arm strength.
Another flag is down.
Prior to snap, have an illegal substitution. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Here is Chase Bryce, the number 14 pocket passing quarterback in the ESPN 300. Craig, a little bit more on the senior.
We've already spoke about his decision making. He's got a quick release, can really get rid of the football. He has already began to develop that frame. He is bigger as a senior. And I had a chance to come down to practice early in the week and talk about him. He wants to get more involved as a runner and being able to extend plays smartly.
On the ground here, again, this is Taylor. Gain of 3 yards. Bryce told us that he added weight, but he also added speed this offseason, which is not how it works for most of us.
No, that means adding weight smartly, getting bigger but maintaining athleticism. That means not putting on fat but putting on muscle. And he is one of 2 ESPN 300 prospects committed to the Clemson Tigers. The other one is Hunter Johnson, who is a very good athlete, a big quarterback. Bryce a little bit different, but he knows he wants to be able to add that element to his game as well.
2nd and goal to go. A fumble. Ball was out of the hands of Jemias Williams, and IMG Academy has the takeaway. It's Dante Sparaco, the senior, and a Colorado verbal out of the scrum.
On the toss, it just a little bit behind him, could not get a handle on it. And that IMG defense swarmed. And a big turnover for the Ascenders defense.
Dante Sparaco at the bottom of the pile. IMG Academy gets the takeaway midway through the first. Just over 3 hours ago, Jemias Williams, the number 4 corner in the ESPN 300, told us where he's verbally committing to play next year.
Jemias, you told me yesterday you had narrowed it down to 5 schools: Clemson, Ohio State, 3 from the SEC, Tennessee, South Carolina, and your home state, Georgia. What'll it be?
So first, I just want to thank God and my dad, my mom, and my trainer, and also all of my family, friends, and my teammates, and everyone who has supported me through this process. So without further ado, for the next 3 to 4 years, I'll be attending the University of South Carolina.
I love that he gave himself the option next 3 to 4 years. Jemias Williams headed to the South Carolina Gamecocks and Will Muschamp next season. He's back on defense now. Kellen Mond on the keeper for IMG. Run down from behind. Olivia was with Jemias earlier and has more.
Well, Coach Aaron was talking to me before the game. He said if it doesn't work out at defensive back, he has value. And you'll see him in all 3 phases tonight.
Defensive back and running back. Thanks, Olivia. How big of a win is this for South Carolina?
It is huge because he is a competitor. He's a versatile player, as Olivia mentioned. He could play corner, potentially be used at running back in the slot as well.
A lot of pressure here. Mond scrambles away from it. Does a nice job making something out of nothing. That's why he's rated as one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the 300.
It's good pressure there by that Grayson defense, but being able to corral the Texas A&M verbal commit Kellen Mond is not easy. He's really got tremendous athleticism, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier, when he's on the move, he feels very comfortable throwing, and because of that arm strength, he could throw off his back foot. Don't always like that as a coach, but he certainly has the ability to create plays.
No gain on that one. Trey McKitty is in the backfield, a tight end on a 3rd and short. Mond straight up the gut. That's a first down and more. Kellen Mond working his way to the 41-yard line. Pickup of 14.
When you have a dynamic runner like Mond, you can use him in designated runs. They're going to use a tight end, McKitty, to block upfield. And then you see the ability to make defenders miss and create yards. 6'3", 200 pounds. He has he's an impressive looking young man in person on the hoof.
First down for IMG. Grayson only rushes 3 and still gets to Mond. Brought down for a loss. The senior Jake Killian on the play.
He had the pressure on the play before, and you know, this is good protection initially by this IMG defensive line. It's one of those things for Kellen Mond as he works on his progressions to know when to get rid of the football.
Senior Killian, who was playing safety in the spring, added to the defensive line to give them some speed. Empty backfield on a 2nd down. Mond over the top, incomplete, no flag. Terrific coverage on the play. Brian Hightower the target, and Quentin Thames, the senior corner, with a deflection.
With all this talent that IMG has offensively, you would imagine they're not going to test number 1 Jamias Williams that much, meaning that it could be a big day for Quentin Thames, who they call QT. But a nice job in coverage right there, sticking with his man.
Okay, that's a 6'3" receiver and a 5'9" defensive back. No surprise IMG went there. Williams covering Jamon Osborne on the bottom of your screen. Mond again flushed and again goes down. Grayson's front line stands up.
The number 15, Jake Killian, you mentioned, moved down from the secondary this camp and has really been disruptive using that speed against an offensive line for IMG that has 2 ESPN 300 members on it, and forcing Kellen Mond to not allow him to get comfortable. And really the strength of this Grayson defense, that secondary, is allowing that defensive line unit to be able to apply pressure, keep this IMG offense off balance.
Oh, it's a fake punt. Snap us to the up man. That's enough for a first down. A little trickery from IMG Academy. It was Mike Jones who took the direct snap and rumbled for a first.
In the middle part of the field, they rolled the dice to Mike Jones, a tremendous athlete, a Clemson verbal commit in the 2018 class. Got a hole, was able to pick up a big first down, keep this IMG offense on the field. It's a big game, a lot of talent. You're on the road, taking some chances early.
9 yards on the play for Kevin Wright's Ascenders. Across midfield for the first time. Mond gives it up. Asa Martin dancing his way for a first down. The junior from Cortland, Alabama. Jordan Cornelius finally ran him out. That's Asa Martin, one of the many junior 300 players on this team.
And Coach Kevin Wright, the head football coach, he really raved about Asa Martin and his versatility as a player. We saw the athleticism, the feet, but flag on the play.
And this one looks like it's coming back.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
You mentioned there's a lot of talent. 2 ESPN 300 players on this offensive line. But IMG Academy with a tough start in the penalty department. There's a look at that monstrous line for the Ascenders. All 5 starters over 275 pounds. 3 of them plus 300. First and 11 after the spot foul. And another flag.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, it hasn't been the best couple of plays for this offensive line, but my, do they have size. Look at this comparison. The Atlanta Falcons don't quite measure up.
Speaking with Grayson head coach Jeff Aron, he said when he saw this offensive line, he said they look bigger than the Falcons offensive line unit. They are a big, talented group.
Bond with the keeper. Back across midfield. Into a collision near the original line of scrimmage. Aaron Brawley in on the play. If we negate the Martin run, which was brought back by a penalty, every play's been a run or a pass for Mond.
Going back to those Falcons, big Evan Neal, number 73, he's helping that stat. 6'8", 375 pounds. He is a monster human being. Now, being big doesn't necessarily always mean being good as an offensive lineman. It's about maximizing the size that you carry, but what a big frame to develop.
Mond hit as he throws, complete. Flag is down at the end of the play. Trey McKitty reeled it in. That's 5 penalties on IMG Academy in the first quarter.
Ineligible receiver downfield. On the offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
So head coach Kevin Wright shaking in his head. This is not the start that he wanted. Penalties were an issue last week. You know it is something that they addressed during the week, but coming out and repeating bad habits. Grayson is a talented enough team. IMG does not need to beat themselves as well.
Second down at 15. More pressure coming. Mond gets away from it and throws it over the head of Jamon Osborne. Aaron Brawley brought the heat. Next Saturday, it's the opening weekend of the college football season. Alabama and USC on a neutral field in the house that Jerry built in Arlington. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific as part of our best opening weekend ever. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. The preseason #1 team, Alabama, and the last preseason #1 team that ended the season here, USC. You talk about ESPN 300 talent, there's quite a few in that game.
Absolutely.
3rd and long for IMG. Short pass for Mond, and he and Jamon Osborne not on the same page.
Been very impressed with the amount of pressure this defensive line has been able to create. 3 pressures thus far, really not allowing Kellen Mond to get comfortable. When he's been at his best is when he's tucked the football and run. But they have not been able to get this passing game going with players like Jamon Osborne, number 8, and the ESPN 300 wide receiver. Brian Hightower, number 7, a part of the junior 300. They've got some talented weapons out wide, but they're just not being able to get set in the pocket and make the throws.
No fake punt here. Graham gets it away. Fair catch called for and made at the 14 by Jamias Williams. It's a steamy day here in Georgia. The Ascenders trying to stay cool in the mist. Yeah, when you get an American Gladiators relative in there, you're doing all right, Greg.
Absolutely. It's a nice foundation to build a football career off of. St. John Bosco, one of the top programs in the nation. We had him on the Geico ESPN High School Showcase 2 years ago, #1 versus #2 against Bishop Gorman. Now in Cincinnati, playing a very good St. Xavier team with Sean Clifford, the Penn State verbal commit at quarterback. Great game, part of this kickoff weekend.
Second drive for the Grayson Rams. Chase Price, Clemson commit, out of the shotgun. Rams got to a goal-to-go situation, lost a fumble on the first drive. Inside to Kurt Taylor. Pushes the file forward for a gain of 3. Speaking of Bishop Gorman, as you were earlier, they're up next against Cedar Hill. 2 top 5 teams in that game as well.
That is a tremendous matchup. You want to talk about the greatest first week ever of college football. This weekend of high school football. It's a perfect appetizer for what is coming next week. A lot of great matchups on the high school level throughout these 3 days, and it continues tomorrow as well.
Rams tighten the box here. Flag is down on the play as Jamias Williams spins out of a tackle.
These Grayson running backs did a really nice job of following blocks.
Sideline warning on Grayson. That's their first warning. It's 3rd down.
Week 1, the get back coach is a little rusty. Got to get in practice.
Everybody's a little bit rusty. Jeff Harrett's first game as a head coach of the Grayson Rams, and Jamias Williams' first game in the green and gold. Brings up a 3rd and short. Williams top of your screen on this 3rd and 1. Price to the motion man, Jaquavius Lane. And he is enough for a first down.
Grayson will take that all day. Getting into those 3rd and shorts that allows their entire playbook to be open, as well as to lean on that wing T offense there. Jaquavius Lane, only 6 foot, 175 pounds, not the biggest, but able to get the ball into the speedster's hands. Does a nice job following the block, moving the chains.
It's a wing T offense. They run from an early age here, and they've adopted more spread into the system because of the play at Chase Price, the quarterback. Steps away from pressure, takes it himself. Jordan Anthony, the senior linebacker, knocked him down. He's one of the top athletes in the country.
It's good pressure initially off the edge by the Maryland verbal commit, Josh Kando. Nice job by Chase Price of stepping up in the pocket. And there we see it. He's not a dynamic athlete, but he's got some sneaky athleticism to him as well. Able to create something out of nothing.
A turnover, a fake punt, but no score in the first quarter. Number 2, Grayson, and number 4, IMG Academy. You're watching the 2016 Geico ESPN High School Football Kickoff. Part of the Summer of Next, presented by Geico. End of the first quarter, no score between IMG Academy and Grayson. 17 ESPN 300 prospects in the game, but no points so far, as the Grayson Rams will be back on offense for the start of the second. Kevin Brown, Craig Hobart, and it's an IMG team, Craig, that has the top 2 defensive ends in the nation. How's Grayson's offense handling them so far?
They're taking them out of the game. Running the football, 5 straight running plays for this Grayson Rams offense. And when they do throw the football, it's been short inside 10 yards. That's how you neutralize 2 talented players like the Maryland verbal commit, Josh Kandow, and number 58, Robert Beal, verbally committed to Georgia.
Back out of the wing tee for Chase Price for a 2nd and 6. Jamias Williams takes the pitch. He has stood up just a bit shy of a first down. Gain of 4.
What does it do? It puts him right into a 3rd and short again. I wouldn't be surprised if they come back out in a double wing T look.
Saw Dylan Moses hit on that play, the senior who has been on the recruiting trail for a long time. Number 1 athlete in the country. Another 3rd and short. Give is inside. It is Kurt Taylor right near the sticks. Set it up for a first down. It's a hot one here in Grayson County, Georgia. Now that we have to tell Olivia Harlan that she's down on the sidelines, hopefully with a portable air conditioner. Olivia.
I totally echo what you just said. It is a hot one, just under 90 degrees in the sun. But as you can see on the IMG sideline, we're in the shade. Not only that, but they shipped up some cold fans from Florida, and they have ice towels that they're handing out to players as they return from the field. Grayson has nothing like that, nothing even close, just water and Gatorade. They say they're conditioned to it. Athletic trainers told me this is nothing.
Back inside, a handoff to Kurt Taylor, and I guess we know why Olivia picked the IMG sideline.
Seasoned vet, right?
That's right.
That sounds like a great story by the fans cooling off. But it is hot, and I think that's really, as this game gets close, stays close, as we get to the 3rd and 4th quarter, obviously it will start to cool down a bit as we get into the night. But I think IMG's depth ultimately could play a role as the game goes on. If it stays close, that is something to watch as we get a flag here before the snap.
Encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, it bears repeating, IMG Academy in its preseason kickoff classic last week, 82 penalty yards in the first half against Carroll City. That's their 6th penalty of the opening 13 minutes, 8 seconds.
I do not need to be in IMG's locker room at halftime to know what is the first thing Coach Kevin Wright will discuss with his team. It will be the penalties. I could assure you that.
2nd down and short for Grayson after the 5-yard violation. Price for the play fake. Looking long, floats it up for Williams. Jemias Williams breaks free. Touchdown. Is it too early to party in Columbia, South Carolina?
The new South Carolina verbal commit, and for this Grayson offense, it's been chip, chip, chip away. Then they create the big crack with the ability to go downfield. They've been running the football, keeping the passing game short, getting that aggressive IMG defense to come up. Now they get Jemias Williams down deep. He was running all alone. Nice throw by Chase Bryce, the Clemson verbal commit, and a big score, big play for this Grayson offense.
56 yards and another flag of the extra point try. Jemias Williams, the transfer. And we'll check the whistle. It's been a busy opening half for Greg DeFore's crew.
Illegal substitution. Defense, the penalty is declined. We have the try.
We've seen him on defense. We've seen him run the ball. And his first Grayson catch is a 56-yard touchdown. Will Van Pamelen adds the extra point. 8 plays, 86 yards, 7 points for the Grayson Rams. They're on the board first. You're watching the 2016 Geico ESPN High School Football Kickoff, part of the Summer of Next, presented by Geico. The USA Today Super 25, 2 of the top 4 are here. The winner could be number 1. St. Thomas Aquinas lost yesterday in a late game upset to Booker T. Washington. At 3 and 5 on that spot, Bishop Gorman and Cedar Hill later tonight.
4 of the top 5 a part of kickoff weekend. Some of the best talent, some of the best programs in the nation on display this weekend. That's going to be a tremendous matchup as well. Joey McGuire and that Cedar Hill squad hosting Bishop Gorman, who has, I've had a chance to call several Bishop Gorman games over the year. They are extremely difficult on the road. If they've had at home, if they've had an Achilles heel, it's been on the road. Going down into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, never easy for any team. That'll be an interesting game to watch. Tate Martell the Ohio State verbal commit, leads that Bishop Gorman offense. Avery Davis, the Notre Dame verbal commit, leads that Longhorns offense.
We'll have Bishop Gorman later this year against St. Thomas Aquinas in Las Vegas. Touchback off the left leg of Will Van Pamlin. Is Grayson Rams in front by 7. Monstrous opening kickoff weekend. But this game is a heck of an appetizer. 29 players from last year's ESPN 300 in USC and Alabama. Notre Dame, Texas, 18 players from last year's 300. These are college football games. This is a high school game. It has 17 players from this year's class alone. That is ridiculous, Greg Aubert.
Yes, such an impressive amount of talent in this game by both teams. More so on the IMG Academy side, but Grayson with 5 of their own. That talent reaches down into the ESPN Junior 300 class as well. Also some very good 2019 prospects we could see here tonight as well. Some names to know down the road.
IMG starts to the 20-yard line with Kellen Mond. Texas A&M verbal gets a whole lot of nothing on first down. Grayson's defensive line has held up well so far, and that's Solomon Egby, the converted lineman, now a linebacker in on the play.
Been very impressed with this Rams defensive front. I really thought if there was going to be a weakness for this group coming in facing that IMG offensive line, we've already talked about their size, that they would be able to push them around up front. Not so here in the first half.
Mon, quick hitter. Hard tackle made here on the outside. It's the first catch for Jamon Osbin, number 20 wide receiver in the 300 and LSU commit.
He is a big receiver, 6'3", 217 pounds, really a tremendous athlete for his size. I have affectionately nicknamed him Quadzilla because when you see him in person, he has huge legs. He is powerful.
Mon, the keeper, on a third down. Trying to push the pile, and Kellen Mond has enough for a first down. Eight carries so far for Mond.
He has
number 2 dual threat quarterback.
I'm sorry, he has been their best weapon thus far, their most consistent. As he mentioned, a dynamic runner. For him is just about continuing to grow into position. Works a lot out of shotgun. In his old high school system was really only asked to make half-field reads, so going through progressions throughout the entire football field, developing those mechanics as a quarterback. But as far as just raw physical tools, Kellen Mond, he truly possesses an outstanding upside.
Timeout taken by IMG Academy. It's first of the game after a first down run from Kellen Mond. In 2017 class rankings from ESPN's Recruiting Nation, and no surprise here, Urban Meyer and the SEC rule the roost.
Ohio State off to a fast start. 18 commitments, 16 in the ESPN 300. That's a pretty good average. They just added 2 ESPN 300 wide receivers this week in Tyjon Lindsey and Trayvon Grimes. And we've been talking about Jamias Williams joining that South Carolina class. They were sitting at 17 prior to him coming on board. Will Muschamp doing a nice job with that first full class.
And that was 4 spots up from the previous rankings. They'll rise even more with Williams.
He is their 4th ESPN 300 commitment in the month of August. And I think he'll be a player who can be a leader for that class, rally some players. But we did talk to him yesterday, Kevin, and he said that he still plans to take his official visits as the process goes on. But a verbal commit to South Carolina.
Mond pushing forward, setting up third down and mid-range. The new coach there for South Carolina, Will Muschamp, is in the fold for the Gamecocks, and Jamias Williams is his biggest fish reeled in so far.
Well, listen, you know, they had some struggles offensively at Florida, but one thing Will Muschamp proved there and everywhere he's been as an assistant is that he can recruit. MJ Webb out of here in the state of Georgia. He was one of those 4 commitments within the month of August. Doing a nice job there early on. Still a long way to go to signing day, but South Carolina sitting in a good spot here at the beginning of the season.
Trey McKitty, the third down catch. Bangs his way off a defender. McKitty, the Oregon verbal, has it up for an IMG first down.
This is one of the things, the weaknesses of D'Angelo Gibbs. I know it's a nice play here by McKitty, but you want him to wrap up, not look for the big hit now. His force was able to push McKitty where he had to put a foot out of bounds, but if he had a little bit more space, he would have been able to keep going upfield. I love his aggressiveness, but as one thing D'Angelo Gibbs needs to work on, wrapping up, securing the tackle.
Mond. Asa Martin to midfield. On Gibbs, number 2 athlete in the class. Is that something that'll come as he learns the technique of one specific position?
Exactly. He's playing both ways. He's being utilized in different ways. Playing one position on one side of the football, learning and progressing in the little things at the position. But he's a big physical kid, and just sometimes, young football player, he wants to lay the wood, and sometimes, you know what, you just got to wrap up, make sure you get the tackle first, then bring the pain.
Mon just shy of a first down, gain of 3. Ishmael Abdul out of the pony position, which is a linebacker, defensive back hybrid, made the stop. Grayson was a little bit late getting some players off the field, so the Rams take a timeout. Third and 1 coming up for IMG. On the move in Grayson territory. Back to Grayson High School, where it's time to take a look at who's next in tonight's game, brought to you by Geico.
So many players, where do you pick? We figured we start at the top. Number 1 rated defensive end in the nation, Robert Beal. Haven't heard much of him tonight. That is due to Grayson's game plan. But a savvy football player, tremendous upside. And we've called D'Angelo Gibbs' name a few times. Speaking to him earlier in the week, he told me right now, in a perfect world, his 5 official visits would be USC, Miami, LSU, Alabama, and Ohio State. But he also threw out a few other teams in the mix. Florida, Tennessee, Auburn. So we'll see how that plays out. But 2 of the 11 5-star prospects in the nation right there. There is also a third taking part in this game. Dylan Moses, number 6, the linebacker for IMG.
Third and short for the Ascenders. It's Mond up the gut for a first down. A drive that started at IMG Academy's own 20-yard line and has moved into Grayson territory.
This has been their best, most sustained drive thus far. Able to move the football past midfield, where their 3 previous drives had all started from the 20 and in on their own side of the field.
Right back to it, and this time Mond is hit quickly. Big number 79, Ryan Taylor, the junior nose tackle, made the stop.
One of their big run pluggers, 6'1", 280 pounds. Showing a good burst, getting penetration, not letting Kellen Mond get a head of steam going as he head downhill. They're going to need him, though, at some point here before this half is out to make a play downfield. With these weapons, they need to create a spark.
Pressure. Mond gets away, throws to the sideline. That is reeled in. Completed catch to Brian Hightower, junior wide receiver. And a first down.
They were looking for it there. Again, pressure, but here we see what Kellen Mond can do very well. The ability to throw on the run, and with good accuracy as well. Nice catch by a member of the ESPN Junior 300, Brian Hightower, a big target, 6'3", 195 pounds, good concentration, ability to extend for the football.
This actually is just shy of a first down, sets up a 3rd and short on the beautiful toe tap from Hightower, in high demand as a junior.
Yeah, already racking up quite a bit of offers. Number 2 rated wide receiver here, early going in the process, but certainly a name to know for the 2018 class as the recruiting calendar continues to get more and more accelerated.
3rd and inches, Mond. Smash mouth football to the 29, first down, IMG Academy. Herbert Winborn made the stop on the plunge for Kellen Mond. Already 13 carries for 50 yards for the dual threat quarterback, Texas A&M verbal.
Well, right now he is carrying this offense on his back.
Mond to pass. Now to run. Kellen Mond, who was committed to Baylor until June, decommitted. Now heading to Texas A&M. Mond out of Ronald Reagan High School, same as Trevor Knight, the current Aggies quarterback.
And a huge pickup for the Aggies. They lost 2 quarterbacks in the offseason. Kyler Murray going to Oklahoma. One of them, well documented, their quarterback struggles.
Nice burst by Manny Green after taking the hit. Got some yards after contact. Darius Martin did not wrap up. It's a first down.
Going back to Texas A&M, they look like they were set at quarterback for a few years ago with a true freshman and a redshirt freshman. Both among the top quarterback prospects in their respective class, but really had to start over. And this is a huge pickup in the former Baylor commit.
Mond off the fake to Green. Kellen Mond to the end zone. Touchdown, IMG Academy.
They're going to get this Grayson defense working horizontally. You're going to see a big hole open up in the middle. You do not need to be an ESPN 300 prospect to run through that hole. When you see Kellen Mond, though, once he does come across some defenders, he's able to break the tackle as a big quarterback and put much needed points. And that was a big drive for IMG. They were really struggling throughout the first quarter to get any type of momentum and consistency there. They started at their own 20, put together a drive, made some plays, tied this game up now at 7 apiece.
14 plays, 80 yards on the touchdown drive. Folks, the first week of the college football season is almost upon us. Big time games not only on Saturday, but Sunday night, the only game of the day. Number 10 Notre Dame hoping to fight its way to the playoff, and the Texas Longhorns at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN.
Could we see true freshman Shane Buechele at quarterback for Texas? And for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, doing a nice job in 2017, currently with the number 5 class, Robert Hainsey, the left tackle for IMG. I think he could be a great swing player. He is just a lunch pail, physical player. I think he'll be an outstanding addition to that offensive line. You think about what Notre Dame has been able to do, even through previous coaches here in the last 10, 15 years with the tight end position. 2 very good ones in this class, led by the number 1 tight end, Brock Wright, who is one of the best blockers among this tight end class as well. And then Avery Davis, we will see him in action later tonight at quarterback for Cedar Hill when they host Bishop Gorman.
There is Robert Hainsey, one of the standouts of that Notre Dame class. Could play tackle, guard, or center. He says he prefers tackle in school. Let's send it to Chris Cotter back at our studio. Chris Jonathan, thank you. Chase Bryce, Clemson verbal. Back at quarterback for Grayson, which starts from the 20-yard line. It's Kurt Taylor, and he is tripped up in the backfield. The initial surge from Dante Spiracco.
Colorado verbal commit. The Buffalo is really one of the surprise classes here early on in 2017. He is from the state of Colorado, heading back home, even though playing here at IMG. Robert Beal did a nice job coming in from the backside, helping out on that tackle as well, the 5-star defensive end.
Play some tight end, some H-back too, Spiracco. Loss of a yard. Bryce steps away from pressure, on the move and slides down. Saw Dylan Moses late in that play, jumping over Jordan Anthony, a couple of top athletes in the country.
Nice feel by Chase Bryce, the Clemson verbal commit. of avoiding the pressure, gaining yards. But that IMG defensive line, which I really thought would dominate in the trenches a little bit more, good initial pressure, but they got to get off blocks and be able to bring down Bryce, not allow him to get downfield, get a little bit ahead of his team, pick up some yards.
Top of your screen, Robert Beal, number 1 defensive end of the country. Bottom of the screen, Josh Kando, number 2. Bryce will get rid of it quickly on the screen to Taylor for a first down. That's how you solve the top 2 defensive ends of the country. First down for Chase Bryce. More on the Clemson Verbal with Olivia.
Well, guys, the former coach Mickey Kahn was not only Chase Bryce's coach of 3 years, but his uncle. When he got the call from Dabo Swinney at Clemson, he told his nephew quarterback before the rest of the team. Chase told me, yeah, it was rough. It's not how I saw my senior season going, but he would love to join his uncle at Clemson next year. Now, Mickey Kahn's dad, who, by the way, also cuts the grass I'm standing on, told me his son is very sad to miss his first Grayson game in 15 years. He texted his successor, Coach Herron, this week, saying just tell the kids to be physical.
Olivia, great stuff. There's the wrap-up from Robert Beal. We've been talking about him. Now he called his name on the loss.
They've been able to neutralize him as a pass rusher with the running game and the short passing game, but they're tried to get out on the perimeter, running his way. One of the things that Robert Beal possesses is he's a savvy football player for a player at this stage. Uses his hands well, is able to get off blocks, locate the football, making a nice tackle right there as we see number 58 with his first big play of the game.
Georgia commit number 4 in the ESPN 300. Good wrap up here on the quick hitter. Elvis Hines, the senior corner, brings down Evan Sturgill. Another completion for Bryce, who's been accurate so far. 6 for 6 for the Clemson Verbal Bryce. IMG with a late substitution. Jack Camper gets on the field in time. High snap handled and fumbled on the exchange, looking for Williams, and Josh Kando gets his big paws around it.
And that was to Jamias Williams. Second time that him and Bryce have had some troubles. The first time was on a pitch. This one on a handoff. He's not going to get it in there. Looks like he's going to hit him on the hip. And when you're going both ways, playing multiple positions, and sometimes you're not getting that work in practice, you see Williams just can't find a handle. Then Josh Kando, the Maryland Verbal commit, number 2 rated defensive end in the nation. Good upfield burst. He is there to jump on the football. And this is a big swing late for IMG. We heard Jonathan Billman talk a little bit earlier about trying to get those big playmakers into the mix. This may be a chance here inside Grayson's side of the field to maybe take a shot here to one of those big receivers. Number 7, Hightower. Number 8, Osmond. See if you can get momentum going big on your side.
Hightower, the lone receiver, bottom of the screen. But first, a timeout.
The 2016 Geico ESPN High School Football Kickoff is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Some college freshmen to watch, and the first of those, Craig Harbor, was an ascender last year. Isaac Nauta, the number 1 tight end in last year's class out of IMG Academy. He and Jacob Eason could be a dynamic duo for the Dogs.
Absolutely, a lot of eyes on Eason. Could he be the guy out the gate? Jonah Williams could be starting as a true freshman for Alabama, a player to watch in that big showdown against USC. Auburn has a need at wide receivers. Nate Craig Myers, the number 2 rated receiver a year ago, a big target. He could be a player of not only talent, but of need in that Tigers offense.
They open with another Tigers opponent, Clemson-Auburn, next Saturday. This pass was thrown out of the hands of Manny Green. Incomplete from Mond, who accounted for all 80 yards passing or rushing on the last drive.
IMG played a game a week ago. Grayson did not. They had a scrimmage. But you would think the team that actually got to play a 4-quarter game would come in a little bit sharper. But thus far, obviously Grayson has had the fumbles But as far as penalties and just kind of in the passing game, they've been a little bit sharper than IMG for a team that's played close to 6 quarters now.
Quick swing out here, Manny Green. Good drive from Green, who does not have great size. The senior at only 5'10", 160, but fights his way for nearly 7.
Yeah, Manny Green, a 4-star wide receiver. Do not judge him by his stature. He has a lot of fight. Coach also spoke about his blocking as a receiver as well. And a Central Florida commit, he could be a real playmaker there for Scott Frost.
Mon back up the middle. First down, IMG. What are you seeing in the battle in the trenches right now?
I am seeing the opposite of what I expected. Right now, Grayson overall has been winning the battle in the trenches here, but I think as the game wears on, watch that size of IMG if they can begin to impose their will a little bit.
Not much from Mon. He did get a big block there from Evan Neal, the 6'8", 375-pound sophomore. Kevin Wright says he's a slender 375, by the way.
Is there such a thing?
Apparently. Mon to throw on second down. Good coverage downfield. Gets it away short and incomplete.
Tremendous coverage downfield there. The protection was there. There was nowhere for the Texas A&M verbal Kellen Mond to go with the football. And that is the strength of this Grayson defense, and they are really just matching up. I know, speaking to Jamias Williams, the South Carolina verbal earlier in the week, he was excited. He wanted to lock up. He really felt that they could compete with these receivers despite their size, and thus far their secondary has really responded.
Williams said he wanted that matchup with Jamon Osborne. Osborne only 1 catch so far. Off the field here as IMG takes a timeout. Final timeout of the half. Well, we told you about Saturday night. We've told you about Sunday night. About a little Monday night football for our opening weekend of the college football season. It's down in Orlando, and it's with 2 of the top 11 teams in the nation. Ole Miss with Chad Kelly, one of the top quarterbacks in the country, and Florida State led by Heisman hopeful Dalvin Cook. 8 Eastern, Monday night from Orlando. Live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Seminoles might be led by a former IMG Academy ascender. Indications are DeAndre Francois will start against the Rebels.
Yeah, top 50 player, in the ESPN 300 in 2015, and always a little bit nervous if you're a fan starting over with a new quarterback. But Francois, he's got a strong arm, really impressive young man. I think they will be in good hands. He certainly has a lot of talent around him, and anytime you got a young quarterback, knowing that he has that talent around him, doesn't need to do it himself. And also in that game, Ole Miss, Greg Little, #1 rated offensive tackle, 2016 class. Could he be the guy to take the place of Laramie Tunzel?
It's a 3rd down out of the timeout for IMG. Mon chased from behind and wrapped up. Solomon Egby with penetration.
The junior been playing very well here in the first half.
Ascenders will stay on the field, go for a quick 4th down. Time is ticking here in the opening half. Play clock is at 10. They may burn as much of it as they can late in the half. Mond to the end zone. Osborne in the corner. The officials will discuss it, and it is incomplete.
If you're going to take a shot, that's where you take it. But we just spoke about this matchup. Jamias Williams speaking earlier in the week that he wanted this. He is giving up the size advantage, but he is right there. Outstanding throw, and we're going to see him come down, and that is close. If anything, he just had that toe on the line. Outstanding effort by Osborne. And it's tough to tell from that angle, but that
First angle certainly looked like there was some space between his foot and the sideline. Has possession of the ball on the way through. Well, the officials are talking this one over. Of course, there's no replay here.
Extremely close, guy. My initial reaction seeing it from that one angle was, it looked like, as you mentioned, it looked like he had a little bit of space there. Regardless, outstanding effort. Watch the extension. Does an outstanding job of going up and getting to the football. You see those big, strong hands. And right there, it looks like there's a little bit of space there.
Also note that the official on that sign, the hat is off. So the ruling may be Osborne went out of bounds first. You can see it right there. He's out of bounds.
There he is.
Kevin Wright is not happy right now. IMG coach, but Osborne not forced out of bounds. It's a heck of an athletic play, though, and even if it's incomplete, makes you excited if you're an LSU fan.
We have illegal participation on the offense. It's 15 yards from the spot he returned in bounds. Therefore, we're going to replay fourth down.
So illegal participation, went out of bounds of his own merit, came back in, and a spectacular grab is nullified.
You at the top of the screen, Williams in coverage right past. Then you see him go out of bounds right inside the 10-yard line. And then we see the outstanding effort. He was in the end zone. It was earlier in the play where he stepped out.
Jeff Herron wants an explanation on the Grayson sideline. Well, now a decision for IMG after we get the yardage sorted out. It'll still be a fourth down deep in Grayson territory.
Where the ball was previously spotted, Kevin, really put their kicker, Cooper Graham, kind of on the edge of his comfortability range. But because of the penalty originating from where he stepped out, it moves them a little bit closer, a little bit more of a makeable field goal situation here as they bring out the kicking unit.
They are comfortable with Graham from 35 to 45 yards. Up to that. Ball right now is spotted at the 20. Kevin Wright still in some amount of disbelief. You were a high school coach before. This is a fun situation to be in, isn't it?
Oh, always fun. Week one, trying to work out the kinks, and
officials running back and forth between the sidelines. So this is a 37-yard try for Cooper Graham, senior from Asheville, North Carolina. And we'll wait for it. Timeout, Grayson.
Grayson, that's their second time out of the half.
So Graham will think about it a bit longer. It's an IMG team who had a tremendous kicker last year, Ricky Aguayo, the brother of the now Bucks and ex-Florida State kicker Roberto Aguayo. He's followed his brother to FSU. While we're waiting for the kick, let's take one more look at some of the top recruiting classes in the nation, of which we have several players. There's 17 members of the ESPN 300 in this class, and you just saw Chamon Osborne, the LSU commit, go up and make that spectacular play.
outstanding job by the Tigers. Always a power on a recruiting trail. Got a Clemson commit in this game, and quarterback Chase Bryce. They just moved into the top 10 this week after an outstanding pickup in one of the top cornerbacks in the nation, A.J. Terrell, out of Westlake High School here in the Atlanta area. In Alabama, Ohio State can be tough to catch, but Alabama has had 4 of the last 5 #1 overall classes. South Carolina with a big pickup today. Florida, sitting there at number 13, has picked up 2 ESPN 300 commitments in the last 48 hours.
Here's your top 20. And here is Cooper Graham again from 37 yards away. Zach Anixtad is the holder, and we will hold on. Kick was wide, but doesn't count. It's a timeout after timeout for Grayson. Well, this is our opening weekend of high school football. Wall-to-wall coverage today, games yesterday, game tomorrow. Here's what we've got the rest of the year for you. Some big-time matchups. Top 4 schools in the country on there. Aquinas, Bishop Gorman, September 30th. And October the 27th, Craig Harbert, we go to the California School for the Deaf. There's an outstanding piece on East 60 a few years ago about how that program has uniquely developed into a football power.
Yeah, that is really one of the more intriguing games on what is a great schedule. The end of the year, DeMatha, Our Lady of Good Counsel, always enjoy going to the D.C., the DMV area, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Northern Virginia. A lot of passion there. St. Thomas Aquinas at Bishop Gorman. That will be a great matchup as well. As usual, an outstanding showcase schedule. Cannot wait to get it started. We're going to go to a lot of great high school football towns.
And what you don't see is the college town will be at next Friday. St. Francis Academy, Paramus Catholic in the Big House, Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. Pretty sure Rashawn Gary will be watching that one from up close. All right, Cooper Graham, take 3. No more timeouts left. From 37 yards, it is true. Kevin Wright fired up. The Ascenders into the lead for the first time.
They're disappointed to not come away with the 7, but Kevin, after a pretty sluggish start to this game, a lot of penalties in the first quarter, to be sitting here with 5 seconds left to go with a 3-point lead, IMG can at least go in now and kind of recollect. Like I said, I think Coach Kevin Wright, one of the first things out of his mouth will be those self-inflicted errors that they have imposed on themselves. But to be able to go into the locker room on the road with the lead, it's always better to correct things when kind of you're in control.
So let me flip it around for you. What's the first thing out of Jeff Herron's mouth in the Grayson locker room?
Well, they've really played a good first half. I mean, they've kind of executed their game plan offensively. The thing that has killed them, though, is turnovers. Holding on to the football, that is one of the basic fundamentals. If they could do that here, Kevin, we could be talking about a very different game had it not been for those exchanges that led to fumbles.
Cooper Graham after the field goal kicks it away. This is out of the end zone. Well, we're all leading up this season to our Under Armour All-America game, and we want to take a look back at some of the stars of All-America games in years past. Leonard Fournette, Deshaun Watson, Myles Garrett among them. The first Under Armour All-American game back in 2008, a few years prior. As the Clemson and LSU standouts out of the class of 2014 are some of the great alums, and we'll see one of those alums, Julio Jones, coming up later. Part of that first All-American game in 2008. He and A.J. Green among some wide receivers who've made pretty good on their promise. Final play of the half will be a handoff to Taylor. And we will head into the locker room with a 3-point lead for IMG Academy. The Ascenders get the last 10 points of the half, and it wasn't the most aesthetically beautiful half for IMG Academy, but they do have the advantage. Cooper Graham's 37-yard field goal puts IMG in front. Kellen Mond, a 15-yard touchdown run as well. And we saw Jemias Williams, who committed to South Carolina earlier in the day, hauling a 56-yard touchdown from the Clemson verbal Chase Bryce. Kevin Wright, the head coach, in front right now. He's down in the field with Olivia.
Coach, you had the chance at another touchdown to end the half. What did the officials say to you after that pass play?
I don't know what they said. I was more excited about the fact we kicked a field goal to go in with momentum. So, you play the next play. That's what we tell our kids. You play the next play and control what you can control. So, we're up 10-7. Come out, play the second half, and don't worry about what you can't control.
You told us penalties were an issue in the scrimmage last week. They were early on tonight. What's your message to your kids?
Be disciplined, play the next play, and, the smartest team's probably going to win this football game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. 10-7 IMG Academy in front to Chris Cotter and Jonathan Vilma now with a high school football halftime report. You're watching the 2016 Geico ESPN High School Football Kickoff, part of the Summer of Next, presented by Geico. This is part of our jam-packed high school football kickoff weekend. 10 games over 3 days. One more tomorrow down at Cocoa High School in Florida. Here in Loganville, Georgia, our score. The number 4 IMG Academy Ascenders 10. The number 2 Grayson Rams 7. Two of the national powers locked up in a close one at Texas A&M verbal Kellen Mond and Clemson verbal Chase Bryce have led the way. Mond with his feet as well as with his arm.
Not surprising to see those stats. Kellen Mond has really carried that IMG offense on his back. And Chase Bryce, 6 for 6, 109 yards, a touchdown. You see Jamias Williams with the 56-yard TD reception. Really, that offense has to be happy with what they've accomplished. It's the 2 turnovers on the handoffs that have really hurt that Rams offense. And we were talking during the half, Kevin, about some of the key players for that IMG defense that we haven't called their names, like Grant Delpit, the LSU verbal commit at safety, Isaiah Pryor, the Ohio State verbal commit at safety. The 2 defensive ends for that IMG defense. Through their scheme, they've done a nice job of negating those players. It's really been 2 penalties that have hurt them. And at the end of the half, IMG being able to capitalize and go in with a lead after a pretty sloppy first quarter and a half of play by the Ascenders.
Those first half stats brought to you by Geico. Well, second half about to get going. Again, we are Kevin Brown, Craig Hawbert, Olivia Harlan down on the sidelines here at Grayson. It is the ESPN 300 Bowl. 17 players in the 300. Verbal commits to 17 different schools. The Crimson Tide, the Tigers, and a few others lead the way.
Yeah, you see programs throughout the country, ACC, SEC, Pac-12. Come National Signing Day, I think we'll see at least 24 players signed with FBS programs, and that is just in the 2017 class. Really an outstanding little snapshot of what the future of college football will look like here in the next few years with this game tonight, with IMG and Grayson supplying a lot of talent.
11 members of the junior 300 as well. I'm waiting for you to get the sophomore 300 going. We'd have some talent from this game in that class, too.
He'll be waiting a while. Let's not start too early.
There's Jamias Williams, who has the touchdown for Grayson. He committed to South Carolina earlier in the day. He was down here with our own Olivia Harlan, and Olivia also talked to Grayson's coach, Jeff Herron, on the way out of the locker room.
That's right. And remember, it's Coach Herron's first half at Grayson. What he is happy with is his quarterback, Chase Bryce. What he's not happy with are the 2 turnovers, one leading to a score. He also said they're killing us with the quarterback run. They're changing some things up front on defense, but also the reverse. He said they can't do any run blocking when they're trying to run the ball. They told us this week they wanted to run the ball more tonight to remain control of the game, and he's not happy with that, guys.
Lydia, thank you. Kurt Taylor, only 14 yards on 8 carries for the Rams. Offensively, with that big Grayson defensive line, or big IMG defensive line, what do you sense Grayson does to start the half?
Well, I think, it's difficult with that IMG speed to get out on the perimeter. I think they've had some success, whether it's been Jamias Williams or Kurt Taylor, the Michigan verbal commit, of following blocks, getting 3-4 yards a carry, setting themselves up in the 3rd and short. Remember, Kevin, earlier in the game, when they were setting themselves up in 3rd and short situations, they were converting, they were moving the football. I think that their ability to run the football hasn't been as bad. It's really just been those turnovers. And as Coach mentioned, defensively, I think that Grayson defensive line has played better than expected, but Kellen Mond has been able to feast quite a bit on those designated quarterback runs up the middle. And that's to be expected. You're talking about an IMG offensive line with Curtis Dunlap at 1 guard, 6'5", 370. Brock Bando, a Nebraska verbal commit at 6'5", 280. And Cesar Ruiz, #1 rated center in the nation there, anchoring that group. That's some really talented interior offensive line, able to create some running lanes.
Well, the green and gold are back on their feet for the opening kickoff of the second half. It's a touchback off the right foot of Cooper Graham, whose 37-yard field goal in the waning seconds provides the margin to date. Look at Kevin Wright, who certainly said he was going to, and we expect him to have done this, emphasized the penalties in the first half. Kevin Wright, who's had success everywhere he's been.
And we'll see how this IMG team responds here in the 3rd quarter, if they can clean things up. See Grayson coming out a little bit more of a spread look. See, interesting here in this first series, second half, they try to take a shot downfield.
Chase Bryce will start with a throw. It is picked off. Intercepted by Mike Jones, the junior, and Clemson verbal. So that's one former Clemson Tiger picking off the other.
Came in a quick pass, but a nice job by Mike Jones of reading it, jumping in front. An outstanding effort. He got his hands underneath the football, one of the top juniors in the nation. #9 rated safety. His father played in the NFL, Clemson verbal commit, and really, Coach raved about him on our call earlier in the week. Said, I think you guys might be calling his name quite a bit, and there, a big play to start the second half.
One future Tiger, I meant, but they're not former Tigers just yet.
Yeah.
Mike Jones with that fake punt rush for a first down. Big game for him. So IMG Academy starts with a little flip to Manny Green. 3 catches in the first half, and Green is off to the races. He's in for a touchdown. There is a flag back at the 15, however. And this is coming back. I guess, Craig, it's going to take a little more time for the message to sink in.
These type of penalties are just killing this offense.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Trying to get Manny Green, the Central Florida commit, out on the perimeter. You're going to see #20, Asa Green, the junior running back, holding on the edge, helped create that lane for Manny Green. Pushing back. Taking the points off the board. And here we see a substitution miscue as well by IMG.
Illegal substitution, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's 9 penalties in the game. IMG got off to a slow start the last 2 possessions, however. Directed by Mon down the field for 10 points. This, as you look at the penalty disparity, is a first and rather long. 1st and 22. Good block in the backfield, giving Mon some space. He has Green open, and It's knocked away. Jamias Williams came flying in at the end, and Green could not haul it in.
The four-star was able to get open behind the coverage. Mond had some pressure. You see the arm strength there, and just could not bring it in. It's like he may have turned his head a little bit too quickly, did not look the football in, hitting him in the face mask, and Manny Green knew that's one he should have had.
And that was not Williams. It dropped by Green. The UCF verbal. On second and long, a free rush. Solomon Egby, who had a monster first half, takes down Mond.
They're going to bring pressure. You're going to see him coming around on the stunt. Number 77, Curtis Dunlop, doesn't see it and come off the block with the center and pick that up. Egby gets a free run at Kellen Mond with a big play. And this is a offense that you felt had the momentum coming off the interception. Now they are going drastically in the other direction.
3rd and 31. Quick hitter from Mond. It's Green again. He'll get some of the yards back. Not nearly enough. This is on the edge of Graham's range after a gain of 13. Tackled by D'Angelo Gibbs, the number 10 overall player, number 2 athlete at ESPN 300. And Gibbs has a little bit of a replica at his helmet from the field. 4th and 18, offense on the field.
You got those receivers. Jamon Osborne, we saw him with the big catch early at the end of the first half. With this down and distance, take a shot at the end zone.
Mond rushed again, gets away, heaves it up to nobody in particular. Owen Popo, the sophomore, got the pressure, and Grayson eventually stands its ground defensively.
They get pressure off the edge. Owen Popo, the talented 2019 prospect, and really he doesn't make the initial play, but outstanding effort to get up off the ground, continue in pursuit. An outstanding really just stand by that Grayson defense that was aided by some self-inflicted penalties by IMG, which obviously, regardless of what Coach Kevin Wright might have said to him at halftime, they are still being plagued by penalties here.
So 1st and 10 for the 31. Rams still trying to get the run game going. It's Kurt Taylor, the Michigan verbal, for a pickup of 3. See big number 78, Tony Gray, lead the way on that kick out.
And with that stop by that Grayson defense there, the Rams offensively still feel like they could stay in their game plan, and that is going to be, I think Coach Huron wasn't happy with the running game in the first half, still looking to establish that here in the third quarter.
Bryce, quick hitter. Diving attempt reeled in by Evan Sturgill, their leading receiver from last year, for a gain of 7. Just shy of a first down. They say Sturgill's not somebody you notice much in practice or in the weight room, but he gets on the field and he pops.
Yeah, we joked around. From Coach's blood pressure standpoint, you'd like him to perform in practice, perform in the weight room, kind of give you a good glimpse in all areas. But they said that he's one of those guys that really doesn't stand out in those areas. But when the lights come on and it comes time to play a game, he just seems to get the job done.
Extra tight end here, Eli Shefflin on the right. He'll block for Taylor. Trying to move the pile, only needed a yard. Well, depends on the spot, but he may not have gotten there. Christian Pluchino, Jordan Anthony were in on the stop. And we'll get a measurement. Our crew of officials led by our referee, Greg DeFore. Short.
It's fourth, and there's some distance there between that chain. This is a tough call here because their kicker, Will Van Pamelen, very happy with him, but his strength, he kicks both place kicking and punting, but punting is not his strength, and you're at a point in the field here. You turn it over, you give IMG the football on your side of the field. Now, he may be banking on IMG really not getting in a rhythm offensively, his defense playing well, willing to take this chance here.
They'll go for it from their own 41. Handoff, Jemias Williams, first down. Williams still moving out across the 45, and Jemias Williams with a gain of 7 on 4th and 1.
Bit of a gamble. Jemias has had troubles with the football tonight, 2 fumbles, but you still put the football back in the hands of one of your leaders, a tough competitor. He's able to find a seam and grind out some yards, pick up a big first down for the Rams offense.
Transfer from Archer, two-way player. He stays in, gets the ball again. Why not feed the hot hand? And a nice open field tackle. Grant Delpit, the junior, and LSU commit, beg your pardon, the senior. Jemias Williams going to South Carolina. That's not the only school that recruited him. 41 of them. How about this pile of mail?
Think in the age of social media, no more conventional mail. You are wrong, my friend. There is his 2 little brothers making snow angels and all the mail he has gotten. You could argue that maybe recruiting letters are what helps keep the United States Post Office in service.
Second down for Bryce. He will step up, make something out of it, get across midfield. I think the United States Postal Service is pleased that you gave him a shout out there, Craig Auburn.
There you go. D'Angelo Gibbs, the 5-star safety for Grayson, he said that he has a closet just basically filled with mail.
One of those you open, everything just pours out. It's slide down a mountain of letters for Jemias Williams, D'Angelo Gibbs, some of these top prospects. Gibbs still uncommitted. 3rd and 4 across midfield. Grayson stays in the wing T. Whistle before the snap.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That IMG defensive line was quick to point. This time it's not us.
They can't wait to point in the other direction. That's only the 2nd penalty on Grayson.
Only the 2nd, but a big one. They were really in a 3rd and inside 5, very manageable. Now it pushes them outside of their comfort zone, get out of that double wing T look, and have to spread things out. And really where their success outside of that one big strike, they've been throwing under 10 yards.
3rd and short, Taylor has some blocking. He has a first down. Another quick hitter for Bryce. And Taylor moves the ball across the IMG 40.
Dial up the screen pass. Nice job by Bryce selling it right over Teron Valentine's hands. And then Kurt Taylor with some lead blockers in front. Very nice play call. Nice execution by that Rams offense. Big 3rd down conversion.
Went in the direction and over Josh Kando, the number 2 defensive end of the country. Maryland commit on the line, bottom of your screen. Robert Beal, the top defensive end, not in the game right now. Taylor. Haven't seen quite as much of Beal today. Kevin Wright told us he got a couple of nagging injuries in the preseason, but if any team can afford that, it's IMG, which is so deep up front.
Yeah, and it's part of the thing with Robert Beal, the 5-star Georgia commit, is if you look at him physically, he's still growing, and I think that's part of those nagging injuries. I still think his body is still growing. I think he's still got another inch and a half in him in height.
If only we all did. Bryce, pressure from Kando, and heaves it in the direction of Sturgill. Close enough to a receiver to avoid intentional grounding.
A nice job there by Bryce of speaking to him earlier in the week. He wanted to work on his athleticism, being able to extend plays smartly. There was one, being able to get back out in the perimeter, at least get rid of the football. See Beal back in at end. IMG Grace with the number 1 and number 2 ranked defensive ends in the nation.
Both in the game right now.
I haven't seen a lot of explosion from those two defensive tackles here we're getting here in the second half. Sun's going down, but that group hasn't been overly explosive thus far.
And handed off on 3rd down, and Taylor picks up most of the 7. Sets up a 4th and short.
And they went right up the middle. Those D tackles. Teron Vincent, outstanding prospect, ESPN Junior 300. Number 91, TK Chemdiza. I hope I'm getting that right. But they really have been exploding off, and I think this could be a chance here where Grayson could begin to find some yards up the middle.
It's a 4th and 2 for the Rams. Behind that front four, Dylan Moses is lingering. High snap over the head of Bryce, and he just hangs on for dear life. Joshua Kando pressured after the high snap from Will Taylor. A turnover on downs for the number 2 Rams. Last Friday of every month from May through September, there's a free concert event for families to enjoy on the lawn in downtown Lawrenceville, about an hour outside of Atlanta. A lot of talent in this metro area for high school football. As the Grayson Rams been a school since 2000, ranked number 2, their highest ever to begin a season here in 2016. There's a Grayson student section, shoulder pads and green chests abound. Some miniature Hulks in that group.
They were here early today. When we got here, that student section was already almost full. Waiting now to see if that defense can give them some more reasons to cheer after the bad snap took away a drive from that Grayson offense.
Grayson with 2 lost fumbles, with an interception and a turnover on downs. IMG has hurt itself with penalties, but has the lead. Kellen Mond runs it again. Folks on the Grayson sideline are looking for a hole. There was a tug of a jersey in the backfield from the left tackle, Robert Hainsey. Well, that's one penalty that won't go against IMG.
We're getting Kellen Mond back involved.
Mond with a lot of space on 2nd and 1. 1st down for the Texas A&M Verbal.
Went right back that way, and this time the Notre Dame Verbal commit number 56, Robert Hainsey. You're just going to see him block down and collapse that line. A lot of room off the edge for Mond to make that run.
Quick throw this time. Incomplete. Asa Martin can't haul it in.
A little bit out front of the talented junior running back.
What's impressed you the most about Kellen Mond tonight?
It really is toughness. I mean, when this offense and his team has struggled to find a rhythm, he has really kind of willed them into making some plays, and that means lowering his shoulder and running with the football. That one pass right before the end of the half, obviously the penalty, but it was a very nice throw. And here another nice run and a cut back up the middle.
Finds his seam down to the 15 before D'Angelo Gibbs takes him down. 16 yards for Mond, who's now run for 110 on 22 carries.
Another nice block there by the Notre Dame Verbal, Robert Hainsey at left tackle.
Mond will run up the gut again. Well, you mentioned it in the first half. The depth of this IMG front line might wear down Grayson eventually. It seems to be doing that.
Yeah, outstanding blocking by the guard, number 77, Curtis Dunlop, in the center. Cesar Ruiz, the number 1 rated center in the nation. Those two helped create a nice lane up the middle for Mond. And they'll go right back to him.
2nd and short inside the 10. Mond tries to shimmy outside. Short pickup. Jake Killiam was in the backfield. Killian had a nice first half. Picked up a sack.
Converted safety who's been undersized but using his speed. Ramon right now, he is the workhorse for this Ascenders offense.
Third down, will flip it to Green. Manny Green inside the 5. That's the play that got him a touchdown that was called back due to a hold earlier. No penalty here. It's a first down.
After having him carry the load of the work down the field, we'll see if we'll let Kylan Mond call his own number here.
They will, and he's hit almost immediately. Herbert Winborn has had a nice game from the outside linebacker spot. 7 tackles for the junior.
Coach called him one of his favorites. Really just talked about that young man's love for the game and his dedication to the team and work ethic. He's having a big night here tonight with that Rams defense.
Mond straight ahead, ran into his own man, reaches for the end zone and has it. Touchdown, Kellen Mond. Second touchdown of the game for Mond, and an injured IMG player at the back end. Looked like the center, Cesar Ruiz, as Mond reached ahead for the score.
Mond tried to take it right up the middle. Looked like there was some collision there between him and his center. And Ruiz, a young man out of New Jersey, and as a player, he has just progressed and improved every year. I remember watching him initially as a sophomore, really played high. You could see the toughness and the physicality, but had to work on the technique. Now here in his second season at IMG, he has really worked and developed into the #1 nation in the center. Really been impressed with that young man's work ethic and how he's gotten better as a football player. And him and Robert Hainsey on the camp circuit, those two were like peas in a pod. Everywhere they went, they were ready to scrap and battle. And two of the best offensive linemen in the nation.
Kevin Wright's been here for 2 years. He said, I don't think I've seen Ruiz miss a snap in practice. He is off the field under his own power for the extra point. And Graham missed it. 9 plays, 51 yards. 16 unanswered for the Ascenders. Kellen Mond on his way to College Station next year, on his way to the end zone here. This is the ESPNU Summer of Next, brought to you by Geico. The 2016 high school football kickoff weekend, 10 games over 3 days. This one pits 2 of the top 4 in the nation, and IMG Academy has showed why it's in that class with 16 points in a row. 2 touchdown drives for the Ascenders, and on both touchdown drives, Kellen Mond has accounted for every yard rushing or passing.
He has really carried this offense. The early impact meter, what type of an impact can a player have when they first get into college? Maybe a little bit early in the season to make that type of a projection, but for Kellen Mond, playing as a freshman a lot of times not only has to do with talent, it has to do with opportunity. And after Texas A&M losing Kyler Murray to Oklahoma as well as Kyle Allen transferring, they did sign Nick Starkel. They got Trevor Knight. But in his senior year, there could be a big need for a talented player like that to step in and play. Can Kellen Mond continue to lead IMG? We will see.
"17 players in the ESPN 300 tonight's game, and quite a few of them will be heading to the SEC. Certainly some of the uncommitted ones will. 10 of the top 24 classes in the nation are in the Southeastern Conference.
You think that recruiting in the SEC is intense? How do you have a number 24 ranked class and you are 10th within your conference? That is a situation Mississippi State finds itself in. And Ole Miss is just outside top 25. 5 teams from the SEC a year ago finished with a top 10 class.
Jamias Williams in the first play for Grayson after the touchback takes the pitch. Rams had that big touchdown throw from Chase Bryce to Williams, 56 yards in the first half. Not much sense.
I will say this. I am a little surprised they have not tried to get D'Angelo Gibbs more involved offensively. Such a tremendous athlete, outstanding ball skills. He kind of can present that big target, give them an opportunity to get downfield, throw it up, try and let him make a play. Thus far early on, though, concentrating on defense.
Gibbs is not in right now. Kurt Taylor is. He's up the box. Dylan Moses fights his way in for the tackle.
Dylan Moses, number 6, number 1 rated athlete in the nation, a young man who burst on the scene as an 8th grader, committed to LSU, has since decommitted, has several official visits already set up for the year, but coach really raved about his work ethic, a type of teammate that he is, and from his freshman year here to this point, he has put on size, maintained athleticism, and still growing from a running back into that linebacker position.
3rd down, 5 to go. Bryce into traffic and incomplete. Marcus Williamson and Isaiah Pryor, who are both Ohio State verbals, were in on the coverage.
Yeah, a pair of Buckeyes commits were right there, able to close both of those players with tremendous burst. Marcus Williamson, he is out of Ohio. And one of the interesting things about these IMG players is they're all down in Florida, but very often they wind up gravitating back to their recruiting footprint, I would say, as Williamson from Ohio going back to a Big Ten program. Josh Kaindow, a Maryland commit. He's originally from Baltimore. There's a lot of pressure there on that punt attempt. Able to get it off.
Kick from Will Van Pamelin. Matty Green lets it go. 42 yards on the punt. Tonight after Charleston Southern and North Dakota State finish in the FCS kickoff. Sports Center at night with Kevin Connors and Chris Hassel. All the highlights from that game. NFL preseason. Major League Baseball, the Barclays, and the Little League World Series. Maine and Will, New York. Go to the championship game. Sports Center at night tonight on ESPN. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. IMG offensive line. Cesar Ruiz back out there. Olivia has more.
That's right, Kevin. When he came to the sideline, he gave teammates a thumbs up. And trust me, they were worried. The #1 center in the country makes this offense run, especially these quarterback runs. They need him. Now, Coach Wright made a point to come up to the O-line saying how well they did during that drive to make that touchdown possible. Let's see what they can do now. Another offensive line coach said we got more work to do to end the quarter.
Yeah, and here's a flag deep down the field on the throw to Brian Hightower. That is Jamias Williams face down on the ground.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
One of the few shots we have seen IMG take downfield, looking for number 7, Brian Hightower. And Williams just loses his footing. Falls into Hightower. Draws the flag. You see Williams still down. He's been a pivotal part of this Grayson just effort tonight, both offensively and defensively. And you see him stretching out, probably getting late in the game. It's been a hot day. Usually this part of the season, cramping, always an issue. And I really think, Kevin, that this could be a pivotal drive in this game with IMG, the type of depth that they have. It is getting later. Players are getting tired. First game of the year for Grayson. They've only played a scrimmage thus far. If IMG can put points on the board, it could really put Grayson into a situation where offensively they're not at their strength, trying to play from behind and catch up. We'll see here if IMG once again puts that load back on Kellen Mond. But first play, they went deep, tried to make a big play. It's good to see Williams walking off the field.
A couple of injury scares in this quarter with Ruiz first. He's back on the field. Hopefully Williams is okay to get back out for the 4th. Committed on this field. 3 o'clock this afternoon to South Carolina. Jeff Aaron said I wouldn't want all my guys doing it, but Jamias is mature enough to handle that sort of thing on a game day. Mond chased by Popo, the sophomore linebacker, and that's a nice way for Grayson to head into the final quarter. IMG Academy adds to the lead. Kellen Mond, a 3-yard rushing touchdown in this quarter. Ascenders on top. Good news and bad news for IMG Academy. They have the lead, but as we saw in the final play of the third quarter, Kellen Mond cramped up a bit, being tackled by Owen Popo. He's out of the game.
I think the worst thing that may have happened to Kellen Mond is the end of the quarter. He got a chance to stand around for a second, and his body's like, I'm taking this rest. He has been an absolute workhorse through the first 3 quarters of this game, and it's a hot day. You see him working on him, taking down some Gatorade. But I will say this, very interested to see Zach Annexted. This is a young man I saw this spring at one of the Nike regional camps and didn't know who he was, and he started seeing him throw the football. Really impressed. Now, he does not bring the same running element that Kellen Mond does, but he's got an outstanding arm and get rid of the football. See if they take some more shots with him.
Out of St. Peter, Minnesota, he will throw it. Finds Manny Green, who's been the go-to target for Mond, and a first down.
This spring, Annexted stepped in for Mond when he got a little dinged up during practice, and Coach Wright said some of the scouts were there, and within that week he picked up offers from Southern Miss and Western Kentucky just from seeing him work a little bit in the spring. This is a young man, a name to know in the 2018 class amongst the quarterbacks. We'll get a little glimpse of him here, obviously, as we hope Kellen Mond was all right.
Grayson, that's their first charge timeout. TV timeout.
Good start for Zach Annexted. 1 for 1 for the Ascenders. .45 minutes an hour outside of downtown Atlanta, here in Loganville, Georgia, home of the '96 Summer Olympics. Don't forget, next Saturday, it's the best opening college football weekend ever. #1 Alabama, another national title for Nick Saban, the Tide, and #20 USC in Cowboy Stadium in Arlington. Also streaming live on the ESPN app or watch ESPN. Zach Annexted out of the timeout, back to Manny Green for a first down and a gain of 18.
Quick pass, getting it into the hands of their playmaker. There we see Manny Green, the quickness to be able to make a defender miss and pick up big yards. Said it earlier, a tremendous pickup for Central Florida.
Juked out Ishmael Abdul. Back on the ground, and Asa Martin's been a quiet game for the running backs here for IMG as Mond has carried so much of the load.
And there's a run there by the young back. Looked like he had some room out to the edge, wound up cutting it back inside, but really the coach raved about not just his ability, but his versatility as a young back. And since he's been in the program, he has been a sponge about learning everything he can about the position.
Annexted on the keeper, can't shake free. Jake Killian with some pressure again. Darius Martin, 2. Killian with his California surfer hair, in the words of his coach. He's had a big game off the edge, providing some speed on the front line. Third down, Annexted feeds Green, and he gets nowhere. Good to see Jamias Williams back in the game. He was one of a few players in on the stop. Loss of a yard to bring up fourth down.
Big stand there by that Grayson defense.
Cooper Graham set his only field goal try of the game from 37. Graham, whose career goal is to be an orthodontist.
Looking to make the IMG staff smile here.
Hope this kick won't feel like pulling teeth.
We're off to a bad start this year.
Yes, we are. Graham, good from 34. 19 unanswered for the Ascenders. Grayson marching band, hoping for something to cheer about. Their Rams will get the ball back after holding IMG Academy to a field goal. Well, A day in the life of an IMG Academy student, a little bit different than most that we'll see this year. For more on that, let's go down to Olivia.
Guys, Kevin Wright said he approaches his team like they are college athletes. Check out their typical day. They're fed and sitting in class before 8 a.m. Coursework includes college prep, AP classes, honors. They eat lunch or get extra tutoring. They get treatment or tape if necessary. Then weights, team meetings, film review by group, and then a walkthrough. Then they finally practice at 4:30, hit the cold tubs, get treatment, lights out by 11. But guys, I'll tell you, their preseason schedule is even tighter. Coach Wright says IMG is not for everyone, and anyone who signs up to train and board in high school has to be pretty intrinsically motivated. The biggest luxury, though, guys, for team coming into their first contest with that schedule, chemistry. Coach Wright says because it's a boarding school, that's not something I ever have to worry about.
Olivia, thank you. That is slightly different, Craig Albert, in your schedule at Comac High School back in the day.
Yeah, ours was much more regimented. No, that really for the players that are able to stick it out. And as Olivia mentioned, Coach said it's not for everybody, but I really think it gives these players a leg up getting into college and getting into that structure and getting a chance to see what it's like to be from home, to be on a specific schedule through the day, to know what is expected from you, and to have to deliver and perform. If you can get through it, it can really, I think, help you get into college with a bit of an advantage than most of the other high school prospects that will be following in your same path.
Senators back on defense, where they've held Grayson off the board throughout this second half. Chase Bryce, Clemson vertical quarterback, feeds Evan Sturgill, gets out of a tackle and gets out of bounds quickly. I know it's only been a few years, Craig, but is there something fairly universal you notice in IMG Academy kids when they go to school?
Well, their first season was 2013, so we're still seeing that first group begin to develop in college. You know, but I truly believe that that type of experience really does help prepare you for the college game.
First down catch for Sturgill. Bryce pressured by Robert Beal, and he goes down. Bryce was down before the ball came out. The surge came from Beal. Dante Sparaco was in on the play, as well as Teron Vincent.
Yeah, it was off the top of your screen. Robert Beal working against Tony Gray, the ESPN 300 tackle, got him to turn his shoulders to the sideline. He was able to force Bryce to step up, allow the rest of the troops to rally and get the sack. And I think now this is a situation where Grayson's got to throw a little bit more, where those ends can begin to pin their ear back a little bit, but a big run here on 2nd and long.
Kurt Taylor, Michigan verbal out to the 34. Set up 3rd and 6. That is Teron Vincent, junior defensive tackle. Bit of an injury here, a bit of an issue with his shoe.
Son of Troy Vincent, the former NFL cornerback. And Teron is not at all built like his dad, but he is a big man in the trenches, explosive first step. Coach said he's got a 400-pound bench. He is one of the premier defensive tackles in the 2018 class.
A couple of players who are down after that play. One from IMG, one from Grayson. This was a 90-degree day for most of it, 89 a kick. Warm night here in Georgia. As Elijah Watson gets back to his feet, we'll be back. Under the lights at Grayson High School. Established back in 2000, the 2011 5A state champions in football here in the state of Georgia. Every week we'll be taking you behind the scenes of our host school on Snapchat. Olivia Harlan has our Snap story for this week. Craig, I've always thought that of you. You'd be a cute cover if you were a vegetable, you know that?
There's Olivia with the Ram. It's always great. One thing I love about the high school season is seeing the different schools, how every town treats Friday night. And such a special part of every player's career is that time as a high school football player.
Back at play for a third down. This is out of the hands of Jaquavius Lane, who loses control and loses big yardage. Kando in on the stop. Teron Vincent as well. TK Chimidza. And a punt coming up.
Trying to run with the football before he had the handle, and that has been one of the struggles for this Grayson offense tonight. 2 of those pitches have been fumbled. They got one back there, and then a handoff that was fumbled away in the first quarter as well.
Loss of 6. Will Van Pamelen out to punt. Marcus Williams and Manny Green back to receive. This will be Green. .48 yards on the punt, and Green with a return at 17. Best opening weekend ever isn't just Saturday night. Next week we kick off college football on Sunday night down in Austin. The Texas Longhorns hoping to have a rebound season under Charlie Strong. They play Brian Kelly, the number 10 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC. Streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. A couple of impact freshmen, Craig Hubbard, and that one for UT.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary, and then watch Ed Oliver for Houston in that big showdown with Oklahoma on a big kickoff weekend. And we're just talking about Texas. They signed 5 defensive tackles. You will see some of those guys get into the rotation and be needed to contribute.
Kellen Mond back in the game, back to the air. It was in the direction of Asa Martin along the sidelines and incomplete. Ishmael Abdul in coverage.
With Texas losing Hassan Ridgeway and Desmond Jackson amongst those defensive tackles, certainly in need there. And Texas closed extremely strong for this last recruiting cycle, and we can see several of those defensive linemen playing. Certainly something to watch in that big clash.
Mond with a much shorter flip to Martin here. Take a look at that University of Texas class. They're not in the top 25. Where do the Longhorns need to go in the coming period?
Well, Texas, doing a nice job, but off to a little bit of a slower start. Another quarterback into the mix. Legarian Carson has tremendous upside. Montrell Estelle, receiver. Xavier Newen, a number 2 rated center in the nation. Texas closed strong a year ago. Still a long way to go to National Signing Day. I would expect to watch the Longhorns down the stretch again. A lot of it will depend on what their season is. If they continue to show progress on the field under Charlie Strong, do not count out Texas in the later months, which is a big departure from what Texas was a few years ago. It was right after signing day, that first big junior weekend, that class would be almost filled by the end of February. Now tapping the brakes a little bit, putting it together as the year unfolds.
Longhorns hoping to be a stealth competitor in the Big 12 this year. 4th down, and it looked like Grayson jumped up front. Stephen Banks was
encroachment. Defense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Over the line of scrimmage.
As the game wears on, we see guys get tired, some mental errors. See him? Just not going to get any closer to the football than that. Got to watch the ball.
Mond will take off. Flag at the end of the play on the hit. And it's coming back. Kevin Wright's team up 12, but still some things tired out. Still a 2-score game here.
That's what made forcing that field goal big. It at least kept Grayson.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Within a 2-score margin, and getting some help here by IMG as they counter with a penalty of their own.
First down and 15. Clock does continue to move. Mond on the straight drop. has a wide open target in Trey McKitty. The Oregon verbal number 6 tight end in the country, but again there's a flag. It's in the backfield. This one is against Grayson.
Kind of Mon, you see him duck down like he may run, and then they slip out Trey McKitty. The Oregon verbal commit, a tremendous athlete at the position. And then there at the end, Aaron Brawley, really just a senseless penalty. There was plenty of steps.
Roughing the passer, half the distance to the end of the play, first down.
Brought his hands to the face, and that's one that's got to drive Coach crazy, because that is an avoidable penalty. He had plenty of time to pull up and not make that, and that just adds on to what was already a big play.
Trey McKitty at 6'5", 235. Found his way into wide open space. It's a 1st and goal. Little flip, Asa Martin. IMG has just worn this team down to the second half.
And with the depth that they have, Grayson, 5 ESPN 300 prospects, a lot of talent, but there's really probably no program in the nation that can match IMG in the type of depth that they have. When your second team guys are prospects in the ESPN Junior 300, you are deep.
Mon gets a little bit closer, his 30th carry of the game.
And then when you got a workhorse like that at quarterback, I mean, despite all that talent, really he has been the key for this game for IMG. I mean, what a workload.
Number 2 dual threat quarterback in the nation. 3rd and goal. Why not back to Kellen Mond? It's been his night. He is just short. IMG will leave the offense on the field, try to pound it in.
They go right behind. There's a whistle here and a flag, not unusual.
False start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
That will be a recurring theme in their preparation this week, IMG.
Double-digit penalties for IMG tonight.
And where that was likely going to be number 11's call again. Move things back, but they have not shied away from asking him to carry the load and run the football, and could still dial up his number here once again.
And go for it. Field goal would keep it a 2-score game. Mon looking for 6. Has his man. Has a touchdown. Jamon Osborne.
When they have asked Mon to throw, he has delivered a beautiful throw here to Osborne, right on the money. You got the size advantage, a big target, put it right out in front where only he can catch it. Showing very nice touch. You see the big strong hands there by the LSU verbal commit, Jamon Osborne, 6'3", 217. And really, Mond has done it with his legs, but when he's been asked to throw, he's made some beautiful throws tonight as well.
And again, they go to Osborne on Jemias Williams, who's such a talented defensive back. But Jeff Herron told us he looked at their receivers. He saw Amazon types. He said Osborne, one of those big bodies.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking almost 5 inches, and that's a big difference. And he is out of the Houston area. Not unusual for LSU to go into that part of Texas and have some success, and big commitment there.
Well, so Monday night college football is the capper to a fantastic weekend of college football. Our opening weekend next Monday, it's Ole Miss and Florida State, 2 teams that have major playoff aspirations. Hard to drop one in the opener and still make the postseason. We've seen it done before, but Chad Kelly and the Rebels, Dalvin Cook and the Seminoles will be hoping to get off on the right foot. 8 Eastern from Orlando next Monday night, live on the ESPN app and streaming on Watch ESPN.
And one of those Ole Miss signings, Benito Jones, a 5-star D tackle, reminds me of a former Grayson Ram. Robert Kindici, an explosive first step, can really be a disruptive penetrator at that 3 technique for Ole Miss.
Well, high school football is about so much more than just the players. It's about the scenes, the fan bases. And our own Matt Stinchcomb told us why his high school experience was so beneficial.
My high school football experience kind of set the stage for what became not only my college experience, but a professional career and the balance of my life. Not only did you learn discipline, but the ability to overcome adversity. We weren't very good. My freshman year, we only won 2 football games, but it was a slow build to prominence. And by the time we were done, actually competing for playoffs and ultimately a championship. You know, that type of experience, it's hard to duplicate in just about any other environment. You know, football, to me, the ultimate team sport, applicable in so many different environments, and it started for me at the high school level.
That's our own Matt Stinchcomb, Parkview High School, class of '95. Here's a home run shot from Chase Bryce. Nearly reeled in down the field for Sturgill on a first down try.
Just a little bit out in front of Sturgill. Couldn't reel it in as he hit the ground, jarred the football loose with 2 Elvis Hines in coverage.
When you hear the passion with which Matt talks about his high school experience, and we go to these games every week, what stands out to you? What makes you so passionate about high school football?
You know, it's different everywhere around the country, but, you know, in some places, Friday Night Lights is the pressure there. On Bryce, a nice throw, catch from first down. Every place around, you and I are both from Long Island, and high school football is not A1.
That's just slightly behind bagels.
Yeah, we play on Saturday afternoons, but even that for me, it was still the most important thing in the world. And to hear these guys like Matt Stinchcomb, who've had success at the college level, at the NFL level, but still remember and credit so much of their success to what high school football brought to them and helped them build them, speaks volumes about this game.
Price after the first down hookup with Jaquavius Lane goes down. The junior TK Chimidza leads the way, number 7 on the ESPN 300 for defensive tackles.
He's a player who's got all the physical ability, and coach spoke about it. Before coming here at IMG, he was a big, strong kid who can get away with it just out muscling opponents. Now at IMG, they're teaching him more of the technique, the little things, marrying that ability with smart play. Tremendous ceiling and upside for that young man.
Said his line mate Robert Beal is on him hard, trying to push him to Georgia, where Beal is committed. Incomplete here with Kane Doe and Chimidza, and that defensive line continuing to swallow up Grayson. He was born in Philadelphia, Chimidza.
There was a receiver nearby.
His parents are from Zimbabwe. His father played rugby, his grandfather pro soccer. A couple of sisters play soccer in school as well. Third and 12. Pressure again. Incomplete.
Those third and long, that's where that defensive line is going to shine to get that athleticism. You got Kane Dow coming off the edge. Lost containment. He's got to keep Bryce on his inside, let him get out to the edge, but still nowhere to go with the football.
It's a great linebacking core here, but they don't need to blitz. That front four has done such a good job this half.
Yeah, this half is right. They really kind of, as the game progressed along, and once they got a little bit of a lead, forced Grayson into a situation where they had to throw a little more. That group that includes 2 ESPN 300 players and 2 ESPN Junior 300 players is starting to exert their will a little bit.
Rams will go for it. 4th and 12. Kane Doe off the edge. Bryce gets it away. It's thrown behind Elijah Shaw. Bryce is down near the end of the play, and there is a flag. It's against Grayson.
And you want to talk about a high ceiling for development. Jason Kane-Dow is just, you look at that frame, he's one of those guys when he walks in a room, he makes you take a second look. He's one of these players continuing to get better. We saw that explosiveness off the edge with the big hit. 4 tackles tonight, 3 pressures, 1 fumble recovery. He has been very active, and his best football is still ahead of him. He's out of the Maryland area, a huge pickup for the Terps. If they're going to be successful, DJ Durkin and that staff, they know good recruiting starts at home. In Maryland, of their top 7 commits, 6 are from Maryland or DC. That is the key to success for that program, keeping that talent close to home.
Well, the sun has gone down. Both sidelines are in shade now. That means Olivia's moved to the Grayson side. Olivia?
Well, guys, the Grayson offense, as you can imagine, is very frustrated. Grayson senior Amari DeBose came up to me and said, "Hey, reporter, can you find my offense for me?" I told him that's not in my job description. Then they went in this tent behind me. They watched that last drive. What they had to see wasn't good. Coaches were really digging into them and reminded them how recently this team won a state championship. They said the defense can't do it all, and don't try to dance with a dancer. Try to stick to what we do and stay together, guys.
Twitter. Great stuff from Olivia as Amari DeBose and this Grayson team took a 7-0 lead and have seen IMG wear them down since. Jamal Curry-Elliott, the junior running back, with a couple of runs in a row.
There have been some very difficult investigative reporting to find the offense. You know,
I think Olivia could run an offense too, though.
Yeah. You know, and really the turnovers for this Grayson offense in the first half really hurt them, because it was an offense that was in a groove, executing its game plan of working the run, drawing that IMG defense up, and then that's when they were able to hit that big play for the touchdown. But 2 fumbles, thwarted drives, really put momentum back into IMG's favor. And here in the second half, once they've been able to pad that lead, force Grayson to have to really just predominantly throw the football, that IMG defensive line with all his talent has begun to really just take over.
A defensive line for IMG led by Robert Beal, number 4 prospect in the country, number 1 defensive end. He is headed to the University of Georgia, and Kirby Smart's done a terrific job with this group.
Yeah, there was a Twitter response today when Jamias Williams committed to South Carolina. Kirby Smart's losing control. Yeah, the sky is falling. Kirby Smart, with his first full class, is doing an outstanding job. Georgia is a very tough battleground. For me, you could argue it's one of the 3 biggest states. You know, if you want to put it in there with Texas and Florida, obviously California, you could argue is in the big 3. But regardless, the Peach State, so much talent. Everybody in the nation comes into this state to recruit. You can't keep everybody, but Robert Beal, who is from Georgia, is certainly a nice starting point.
Georgia earlier this year offered 18 players at IMG Academy in a single text message.
Well, you can almost say that, not more. There's so much talent on this team.
Well, there's a second message, but the data wasn't great. It didn't get through.
And they weren't alone in doing that.
Tennessee, Alabama, other schools have offered quite a few IMG players.
Spring practices are almost like a coaching convention. There's
measurement here, Mond is just short. Now, one school, oddly enough, that is still looking to sink its teeth in IMG's University of Florida, right down in the state. One of the top recruiting classes in the SEC this year.
So I mentioned a lot of people look that a lot of these players don't necessarily go to the Florida schools. And as I mentioned earlier, what's been interesting thus far is a lot of these players have returned close to where they come from. Robert Hainsey, for example, the left tackle. He's a Pittsburgh area kid. He's committed to Notre Dame. We talked about Canedale, Maryland area kid, committed to the Terps. So even though they are in the state of Florida, the Florida schools haven't necessarily benefited from IMG. A lot of these players have returned back to their recruiting footprint.
Mond will give it up the middle to Curry-Elliott. And a bruising run down to the 11, a first down for IMG. Grayson with only 1 timeout remaining. D'Angelo Gibbs made the tackle.
We will see IMG again a little later in this year.
See them against Trinity Christian.
Yep.
What's impressed you the most with IMG Academy tonight?
Singularly, Kellen Mond. And really how, with all the talent on this team, 12 ESPN 300 players, 11 junior 300 players. Really, he has been the catalyst for this win tonight. He has really kind of carried his offense on his back.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Both making plays with his arm, but really predominantly his legs. And we described him as a dynamic runner earlier in the game, but really it's been a workhorse type effort for the Texas A&M verbal commit.
Mond is also our MVP of the game, brought to you by Geico. And how about that for symmetry? Pass yards, rush yards, the same. 3 total touchdowns for the Texas A&M verbal. Curry Elliott ran right into his own man. Jamal Curry Elliott knocked down Brock Annexstad, the brother of Zach, the quarterback we saw earlier.
A member of the junior 300 as well, Jamal. And coach said he has a special gift, an ability just to find seams and positive yardage there on that run. 2 very talented young backs, and really didn't even see Trey Sanders, number 17, 2019 Alabama verbal commit. And this is one of the things is as this program grows, they're getting players who are going to be in this program for not just a season, but 2 or 3 seasons.
Mond. Well, we've been talking about the Junior 300. IMG Academy has a stacked list. Teron Vincent, the defensive tackle, leads away.
Yeah, and Houston Griffith, talented corner, didn't really call his name much tonight. Mike Jones Jr., the Clemson verbal commit, made a few big plays defensively as well as on special teams. Monster guard Curtis Dunlap, number 77. Mon ran behind his way a few times as well tonight. So much talent on this team. But ultimately, that talent won out.
Well, Grayson took the lead tonight on a 56-yard touchdown strike early to Jemias Williams, who was the headliner in the afternoon, committing to South Carolina. But Kellen Mond and IMG Academy bruise out a 19-point win in the opener. And Kevin Wright's Ascenders take down Jeff Herron's Rams. 26 in a row for IMG Academy. It was Kellen Mond. He's a starter now. He's a Texas A&M verbal, a dual threat quarterback, and his feet just as important as his arm tonight.
Yeah, I really just, and coach said that one of the things that's impressed him thus far since he's been in the program is how he's grown as a leader. And we saw that tonight. He really took on a leadership role, carrying this team, showing outstanding toughness and physicality as a player. And if you're a Texas A&M fan, if you're Kevin Sumlin, you're very excited about what you saw tonight.
If you're Kevin Wright, you're excited about it too. He's with Olivia.
Well, Coach, it wasn't too long ago you were coaching college quarterbacks at Western Kentucky. What kind of attributes does Kellen have that can translate to that level?
Well, actually, you saw a lot of his abilities from as a dual threat guy. I mean, we basically lined him up and ran a lot of quarterback ISO, and then, just when they load the box, we had him throw the ball down the field. So that's pretty tough to stop if you got a guy that can run the ball and throw the ball like that. And, he probably ran the ball more tonight than he has in any one game in his life, I think.
And how did that fuel your offense going forward into the second half?
Well, I think, we talked about being very physical, and they're a physical team. We wanted to try and control the line of scrimmage. And so we felt like that if we could remove a guy from the box, be physical up front, let our offensive line take over, we could wear them down. And our defense did a great job making adjustments. Our coach did a great job making adjustments at halftime to the wing tee because we didn't know what they were going to run. So hats off to our whole staff, and our kids played their heart out. So did their kids. It was a great high school football game.
Strong finish. Coach, congratulations. 10-0 at IMG for your career.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Olivia. It's Kellen Mond's IMG Academy Ascenders with a big win over Grayson. Number 4 beats number 2. Coming up next, it's number 3 versus number 5, Bishop Gorman and Cedar Hill. Our final score, IMG 26, Grayson 7. That does it for us in Lawrenceville, Georgia. More high school football right around the bend.